Hello again and welcome to Steve's Long Stay Vintage Radio Workshop, where sets could be looked at for various reasons. What we're looking at today is something which I haven't seen this make before, but I'm told it's a very big make in Germany. Now in Germany you talk about German makes, you talk about Saab, you talk about BMW maybe, Grundig of course, but have you ever heard of Neckermann? This is a Neckermann tape recorder. Now, I think at the time they used to maybe buy stuff, I don't know, but this looks from the top like an ordinary Ferguson FTD24 deck. I think it probably is, but the magic eye has been replaced by, hang on, I'll bring it a bit closer here. Hang on. The magic eye has been replaced by a meter. The knobs are different, and the next one added, and of course everything is in German. So this is not English, although the deck obviously is. Now I'm surprised that German tape recorders ever used English decks, because Germans made their own, and you know. But Neckermann, they used to make TVs, radio, tape recorder, that sort of thing from the early 60s onwards, and I think they're in the badge engineering game. I don't know, so I don't know anything about this whatsoever, nothing. So with that in mind, okay, fine. Fine, nothing on there, nothing on there, okay, fine, nothing on there, okay. Speaker doesn't do anything, so straight away. Now some of these decks do actually have an auto stop mechanism inside them, so without taping they wouldn't play. It's quite common with German machines. So I get a tape, put a tape on and see what it does with the taping. As if by magic, here's a tape. So the tape was on the machine, and we'll see if it's that way around. We'll see what it does with tape in it, because that is what we need to know at this stage. So yeah. So put the tape on and see what it does with the tape on. I hope the motor hasn't failed on this, but you know, I'm sure we can find a motor for it if it comes to that, but I don't often see tape recorder motors of this type fail, so I'm hopeful on that score. So there you are. Nothing, okay, fine, it's switched anywhere. Not on that side, not on that side. Plays okay anyway. That's what that is. So first of all, this machine has, shall we say, motor issues. Okay, not to worry. At least we know where we're starting from here, which is a machine that doesn't do very much. Pretty part of the course really with me, isn't it now? Anyway, like I said, I pick up the stuff that nobody else wants to work on, so this is not anything which is a problem for me, put it that way. So screws off, cover off, and let's see what happens, shall we? So I think why it didn't do anything is something which we need to find out about relatively quickly, because if it is the motor, matter of saying oops. Germans tape recorders did sometimes fuse the motor, so maybe it's something as simple as that. I don't know. Again, I'm surprised that a German firm managed to a German tape recorder had an English deck in it, because Germans, as I said, had their own decks, and they were good in their own way, you know. So I'm very, very surprised at that. And this top cover here is very, very Thorn EMI in its approach. So, you know, maybe a lot of Thorn EMI stuff which is in this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know at this point with this whether it's valve or transistorized. Seriously, that's how much I know about it on the electronics side, because I couldn't find a circuit for it online anywhere, and I didn't have it any of my boots either. This is probably quite a rare machine. Whether it's a valuable machine is another matter entirely, because rare and valuable do not mean the same thing. They never have and they never will. So always bear that in mind. Sometimes, because something is rare, doesn't make it valuable. Okay? Okay, the two are linked, don't get me wrong. But there's something like this. Not very few of them about. This is probably the only one in England, actually. I don't know. But just because it's got a rarity value doesn't mean financial value. You never know with these things. So, like I said, you never know with these things, do you? So there you are. Right, anyway, I'll try to get these knobs off somehow, and we'll have a look inside. Well, that's the thing nearly apart. The speed control won't come off no what I do, so there's something with that. So I took the base off to see if something underneath which comes off, and there isn't. But I do know from that first of all, it's a transistorized machine, as you can see here. It's completely mute, by the way, now. So don't know what up with that. And if it goes to playback, now, it does in fact want to turn on play, but on the winds there is very, very little, because of the old famous problem you get with these decks. With these decks, actually, you get some quite alarming faults due to nothing more than grit and oil which has gone solid. So at this stage there's nothing more to worry about than that, after I've got the speed control off. But as you can hear there, the motor is fine, very much so. And as for the electronics, well, we'll have to see. Thanks very much again, Norman, for your help with this. The speed control came off in several pieces. It had been glued on for some reason, so it's gone now, or something. It was stuck really, really tight. No wing, and God's earth, I could have got that off in a million years. But anyway, now these tape recorders, the decks on these, we looked at them previously, but we'll go through it again. Fast forward and play does the same thing. Rewind also does the same thing. Now with these decks, when you press these buttons here, like the switches on the BSR2 and 10 mono decks, these should shift slightly, but these are absolutely solid. These absolutely solid. Now they're solid because the grease underneath is absolutely rock hard, so it simply cannot move. It's simple as that. And so what we have to do is take these spindles come off. I'll take that off so I don't lose it. There we are. These come off from underneath, yeah, and then underneath here also there are a couple of things that they sit in, which are made out of metal, and they do in fact tend to make it bad as well. So they'll all have to come out be re-greased and re-oiled. But again, also with things like this, never put grease or oil where grease and oil should not go. So do it in stages, okay? Which is what we're going to do here now. Now, also I've noticed with this, by the way, there doesn't seem to be any sort of switch on the switch the speaker on and off. I don't think, but I will do. Just to prove a point, I will put in. I'll put a tape on, and we'll see if it. We'll see if it does. If it does or not have that issue. So I'll put the tape on now, like that. But the tape goes back on, like that. Like that. And press play. There we are. It's at 1 7/8, but there should be something. And there's absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Just very quickly with the speed control, I'll turn it to oh, wonderful, wonderful. Something else. Okay, not to worry. Well, I'll make it move to the other way if I can. If not, then speed control. Also, and it does have a problem too, so it's probably that. So anyway, like I said, it should work, but this time round it doesn't. So I simply don't know at this stage. The most is running okay. The most is running fine, but nobody is actually doing anything with that, so you know that's the problem. So these days do have problems with motor running. They all do. Every single one of them. It's something which they all do. So yeah. So like I said, all we do first of all, unplug it. I'm not going, even though this one is transistorized, I still haven't go underneath with it plugged in for obvious reasons. And we do each one in turn. We do each one in turn because one is a mirror image of the other. One is a mirror image of the other. And so this one finished, then this one. And then of course we should hopefully then have a reasonable way of sorting this out here. I hope. Also with speed control we much about with so much while we're getting the speed control off in several pieces, some of which have flown off to goodness knows where. There might be a problem here as well as a result. So as always, let's get on with it. So there you see there's a transistor amplifier. There's the power output from it. Now, what I will do very quickly actually is I'll see if there's power going to the amplifier, because there should be. And if there isn't, well, there isn't. You know, always check, by the way, for the easy stuff first with things like this. Always check the easy stuff first. It goes without saying, especially with something which you've not got any information on, because I couldn't get any information on this thing. I tried. This must be a rare machine. It must be. Anyway, that goes on, and let's see what's happening down here, shall we? 89 volts there, 88 volts there, 88 volts there, nothing there. Okay, where does that go? Goes to there. Okay, 91 volts there, and oh, there's 88 volts there now, I think. Obviously there's something here. 88 volts, there we are, yeah, so that's okay. And that goes up here, and from here it goes also to probably diode somewhere onto the main board, which I will just look around and see what I can find. 16 volts, 14 volts, okay, fine. So it's obviously, you know, not obviously doing something down there. So we might have two sets of faults of this, one mechanical and one electrical. But with these, do the mechanical stuff first, because I know these decks rather well. So again, that comes out, and we'll go in and have a look and find out exactly what's and where. So that comes out of the way. That comes out of the way, and I'll do this side first. So get the screwdriver to move this out of the way. And then we'll go underneath and have a look. I'll just do it and get it so you can see. Now, to get these spindles or tables off on this machine, you've got to undo this screw, this here, and this here with the screwdriver, the C-clips. Yeah. Now for this one, I actually moved this transformer out of the way, and so now with that off, and and then later on that one, they will come off. But first of all, I'm just going to do the supply, what I think is the supply spindle. Yeah, this is a supply spindle, which is this one here. So with this off, yeah, we take off that, we take off the C-clip, and we take off the bolt underneath, and then this should lift off. And then we know exactly what we're doing, because underneath there is a bit which is absolutely not trashed, although people have said about this in the past, but actually frozen. So by frozen, I don't mean frozen, it's the term we use in the trade. So basically, these do not move, like I said before, and because they don't, the thing doesn't do anything. So that comes off, and then the spindle comes out the top. So I'll do that very quickly, and we'll go in from the top and we'll give it a good clean. Now turn the thing on its front like that, and the spindle comes off, and that thing underneath also comes off like that. And it is this here which is absolutely frozen solid, and there's another one of these here, so this one comes off as well. Carefully, softly catch your monkey, they say, as it flies across the room. You know, take it carefully, because they don't know where it's going to go otherwise, you know. Bigger screwdriver perhaps might possibly do here now. There we are. That comes off. And again, this whole thing here is utterly solid. in here. So we now look and see precisely why this is the way it is. This lot should move, but as you see there, it doesn't. So the next thing we take off is this here, and then we should be able to lift this out and take a look. But this is absolutely rock solid. This absolutely rock solid. And on the other side, it will be exactly the same. Exactly the same. You go back underneath the chassis, and there's another screw under there, a bolt actually, which is take out. It's this one here, yeah, under the chassis. And there's two things coming with it: a shapeproof washer and a washer. So they all go in there for now. Okay. Now that comes out, this bit here is the bit that causes the problems. It literally goes absolutely solid. I mean, absolutely, utterly solid. And so you've got to take that out and clean it, which is what I'm doing here. So basically, that now says there goes that now. There goes down. See, if you look, you see, it actually moves back and forth now. You see, like that. Okay, so that goes like that. You see, and that when you press rewind, it goes like that, and play and do anything. But now you see that one. That is the rewind. You see, this is the supply spool. Okay, so now we got to reassemble it, and each time we do, we try it every time, because otherwise, you know, things might decide not to work on us again. So always check and clean and try, and check and clean and try. Okay, that's another tip from the top there. Okay. By the way, I'll put another control on the speed control there, but I think there's a problem there as well, which we have to address. So I might well need to go and get the Ferguson manual for that. Okay. So now, of course, I go underneath again and put this in place, and it should then move as it's supposed to, I hope. Now I've put that one back in. That's the not the bolt that holds the spindle in, but or table. The other one here, which holds the bit underneath the table sits in, the bit that goes solid. And now if I press rewind, it moves about quite well, which I'll show you now. So that was like you see now, and straight away you see that it moves. You see, I'll just put a screwdriver in so you can see there, yeah. There you go. So that is now right. So that one is now right. So now this goes on here, and underneath it goes in place. Now there weren't any washers here. Whether there should be or not, I don't know. What I'll do, I'll put it back exactly as it was before, like that, and you see there, but again it moves back and forth like that, you see. So now we'll put the circlip and the washer back on underneath, and that side will be done. Before we do that, just to prove a point, on it goes, and there we are. You see? So there we are. So this side now works okay. Now the other side is exactly the same. The other way around, like that, mirror image, but underneath here it is exactly the same. And again it's solid. So now, what I'm doing now is put this back on properly, put the transformer back where it should be, and go to the other side and do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. If I was to put it on its back again like that, so you can see, you know that each one has two holes, you see, there and there, and the bottom one holds the screw, nut-headed screw, which holds the bottom bit in, and the top one there, that's the spindle or turbo, depending on. Okay, I'll decide at some point on that one. But yeah, so that's how it works. So again here, you undo that one, undo that one. Yeah, take the spindle off. Again, making sure that you go back in exactly the same way it went out. Take that off, do the same thing again, and then it'll work both ways around. It's a time-consuming job, but it is in fact fairly simple. Oh, and I'll put the transform back as well, because you really need to do that on these. On the Ferguson side, by the way, that's a bigger transformer, but the same applies. The take-up side is a little bit different. Not the cleaning up side of it, that's done here, you see, like that. Okay, but it also has a wheel underneath here, which is used with this drive belt here, because on fast forward it goes onto there and spins around at great speed. On playback it takes it from here, the wheel under there, like on the BSRs, through there, which goes onto that, you see, which goes underneath there. Okay, so that's the only thing that's different. Okay, but now that that's been done, we now need to sort out putting it back together again properly. So again, same applies. Put this in first and make sure that still moves. If it does, then put that in with the various bits and pieces that go with it, and hopefully it'll work. One thing that they will get with these sometimes is if some of the screws are missing or are in the wrong place. What will happen is that the screw might be too low in the cabinet, in which case it will scrape on the top. But you'll only find that when the top goes on. Just another warning for you there. So it's worth actually getting the top, putting it on, and putting a tape on and seeing if it winds okay. The other one is now back on. Underneath the chassis, I actually undid a screw on the corner and pulled the PCB out of the way. So now that's rewind, that's fast forward, and that's playback. Now we've got to play with playback now, you see, because that looks okay, but if I do that, yeah, oh dear, it comes to a halt straight away. Now there's another bit of under here which goes from here to here, and it's driven by another similar thing, so chances are that is not going as far as it should. Now then, where it is I don't know, but what am I going to do for now is I'm going to put a tape on like that. We run it through like that. Like that, yeah, so it should run through okay, yeah. That's okay, and that's okay. So we'll run it back and forth just to see if it should do, but just to make sure, I'll run it back and forth a bit to make sure it's okay, just for now. Okay. Now the next thing we do with this particular machine now is actually not putting it together as such, but I am going to put the cover back on. And I'll put the cover back on because unfortunately with these machines, that's going to come off there. Thank you very much. I was going to do there, was it? Okay, fine, not to worry. That goes on there like that, you see now. Like that. And we'll hold that in place. I just shift that knob that's falling inside. It's falling through, so we shouldn't have a problem. No, we don't. It's there. That comes out. And what I'm doing now, you see, is I'm putting this in and hoping that the reels unwind, don't snag it. If they do, then these two have to come up a little bit. That's the way it is. So now I'm going to put some screws back in it, hold it in place, and then we're going to try it and see whether it works or whether it doesn't. Again here, if it doesn't, then I've got to take it apart again and make these a little bit higher. It's just something which these machines do have some rather interesting habits this way, so you've got to be careful what you're doing with them for that very reason. They can be what's the word, interesting. So let's try it with the first of all, that's fast forward, yeah, that's rewind, and so rewind first of all, put a reel on, and oh dear, that something is going fast forward, and that's okay. So this one, by the way, therefore needs to be a little bit higher, obviously, so something there. Okay, well that, if I hadn't done this now and put this in at this stage, you see, that little fault wouldn't have been noticeable until I put this back on to put this thing together. That would have made me a little bit annoyed. So this comes off again, and doesn't go completely out this time round, but obviously that reel on that side is not high enough up, so yeah, so that comes back off again like that. Way. And look at this here now this here needs to be a touch higher, because if I put it in now, rewind, it's silent, you see, so it's only happens with the top on. So this needs to be a touch higher. Now this is done by putting more washers under here. Okay, that side's okay, this side isn't. Okay, so this side has to come off again, and I put one of these tiny washers here underneath there. Now what I've done here now is I've actually taken off this spindle again, the splice spindle or table, and I put more washers inside here, which then raises it up. So if I need to put it back on like that, put it in place now, you see, and put the tape back on like that and like this, you see, before it was actually having problems. Hang on a sec. Yeah, that was Kate on the phone, by the way, so had to take that very quickly. I've changed camera, by the way, because the other one didn't have enough memory, so this particular one is off two separate cameras, so any difference in quality, that's why. Anyway, like I said, that has gone on now with the next one. I'll put this one up a bit as well, okay? So now, if I was to put the tape back on now like that, and like that, this point, remember, the screws aren't back on underneath. This is just a look and see. You see now that it's about right. So now, and now this particular machine is now going to be turned upside down again, and have the tables put back on properly, and we'll try it again. I'll put it all together underneath, and now that is more or less all right. That is spot on there. That's not real, but I think that needs a new brake, I think. But on play, it doesn't seem to want to do very much. For reasons known only to itself here. So now there's something. Okay. Let's try it now. Yeah, it's playing, but that reel still needs some work. These sort of jobs take the sort of jobs which take about 15 seconds to describe, and goodness knows how long to do. Okay, so I will now go underneath and that's loose again. Okay, that one's loose, so I'll go back underneath and see if we can tighten that up a bit without moving the circuit board again, which is here. Right, now at this stage I've taken both the spindles up a little bit, so that's forward, that's rewind, and in a minute I'll be able to try it on play. But obviously one of these ones, this wants new brake pads as well, so that's something else which I've got to deal with. You know, so so there you are. Right. Okay, so that, and there's play, by the way. Right, now, another thing that worries me here, quite a lot actually, I'm going to look into it next, is why this thing is completely and utterly mute. Nothing, even when they plug it off, there should be something to speak about, there's not. And also, when I operate the record play switch, which is here, I get something on the meter here which suggests that there's something happening in the amplifier, so that amplifier is getting voltage, so no problem there. But for some reason it's just gone really quiet. Now in these situations, before you pick your meter up, stop and think, okay, what do we know? Well, the first thing we know, I'll turn around so you can see. There, I can see that. Okay, fine. Speaker completely silent. Okay. Now, this one doesn't actually have any an input transformer, so it goes straight to the transistors here. Okay. Now we know that something getting to it, but nothing coming out. So therefore, what will stop it? Well, the first thing that I would look at is the speaker itself. Put another one on. Another thing we can look at is this socket here. Basically, all the simple stuff first. If they don't come up with anything, then and only then do you get a meter in the scope out and stuff and start looking for voltages. With these actually, with everything at full whack like that, there should be a signal edge of speaker, a hissing noise anyway, and that's not there either. And like I said, also it doesn't seem to be making any noise at plug in or plug off, which again it should do. So it's something, it's probably something around there, or possibly that there. I don't know what that does in the circuit, but we need to check all that lot first. The tape cord up on its front like this now, that isn't screwed down properly there just yet, but as you can hear, it is now working. Two of these I think were put together holding it off. These sockets are notorious for that. Always check simple things like that first. And if you put it, you hear it, that's the speaker alive and functioning quite well. So if we put the tape back on now, we might actually get some music with a bit of luck. You never know, do you? If we do, then I should be partly happy bunny, partly because we haven't checked the record yet. Oh well, it's something I suppose. So something there, but not a lot. Now then, in a situation like that, there are one or two things. Because some recorders do actually use the erase by some playback as well. That's something to look out for. But in most cases, I think it's 8-put transistors. So so yeah. So what I'll do now, back on its front, back on its end like that, and I'll screw this down and see if that helps it. I don't think it will, but we can always try it. As I said before, you always check the simple things first, and always look closely, look at everything, and that's just what I did with this. And I found the problem pretty quickly, accurately. I don't know if you see too well on screen, away can't, but they are the 8-put transistors there, and one of them went to a broken track. With that track mended, there you are. That's a lot more healthy there actually on the plus test. So now I will put the thing back round correctly. We'll try it again with the tape. Here we are with the tape on. Sounds a bit better, doesn't it? No, the track isn't doing very much, but it might be nothing on that track, so we'll that really isn't taking up the slack properly, is it? Wonder why that is. But anyway, we now know that that problem of it being mute is sorted, and semi-mute has also been sorted. So like I said, always check the simple stuff first, and always check before you do anything else, because it's amazing what you find. It really is. Now, with these, the belt that goes between there and there can cause a few issues. So perhaps it's that, or perhaps it's the I've cleaned that, haven't I? So I'll look at that. But now, of course, the next thing to do, I'll put a 2-track tape on. Now, with 2-track tape in a 4-track machine is something which, as a kid, I used to have a lot of fun with, because one track plays forward and one track plays backwards. Now, that means, therefore, that with the 2-track machine tape on this machine, I will be able to check both sides of the head here, which is done here. And if one of them isn't working, it's going to be just here. So if I get myself my 2-track tape, here it is, a 2-track tape. These, by the way, these 2-track tapes, by the way, some of them, I don't know about this one, I don't think this one is actually, but I'm going to risk it. But some of them actually, World Record Club ones, don't seem to attack the copyright matches quite the same on YouTube. So if you get anyone offers you any, pick them up, because it's they're quite good to work with that way. Anyway, let's see what happens. Oh, it's fine, isn't it? Right, okay.
The birds are singing its song. The banjo strumming soft and low.
So it's something probably down here, that. Yeah, that's the thing. See that there it is backwards. So now you see it's backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. So the head, the track switching are okay.
Gazing at stars.
Nice tape actually, that. Now I shall now have to go and get myself a recordable tape and check the erase on the record. Right, I've got a tape on with a smaller reel, which does make it slightly better. I think the belt underneath is a little bit slack. I've got one in order, but I'm going to run with that for now. So there you are, that's it playing okay. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's one side, okay. On the other side. Plays okay. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that works basically. So that machine is now working more or less. As far as the take-up spool is concerned here, on playback, it gets it from here and here. So obviously that's okay. The playback's fine. That's okay. And it takes a little bit off it for here, so chances are that belt is a little bit past its best. So I've got one in order, so when I get it I will put it in. But in the meantime I'll say this is as good as done. So obviously in this situation, a tape recorder, part of tape recorder together are two different things. So I'll put it together and we'll test it. Here's the unit put back together again. Apart from the speed control, there's one coming for that, so that'll have to wait. But put back together again, it still works. As you can hear. I've also got a drive filter on as well, by the way, so that's something else. But they're simple things to sort out. There you are, a working machine at last, recording as well. So it works, simple as that. Another one nicely completed, more or less. All the various things that go wrong with these decks have been sorted out, apart from the belt obviously, but that's a simple job on these. So there you are, it's a working Neckermann machine. So yeah, so there you are, a working Neckermann machine. Neckermann machines with this deck are very rare. I know that for a fact. That's the one I've ever seen. I've been this a heck of a long time. The ones that you do see on the valve ones, Ferguson, HMV, Ultra and Marconi phone, you get those fairly common. Both ones actually, and I wish I'd been done it actually, one of those badge pilot, but this one is different. This one is transistorized. So, different circuit, which I didn't actually need in this case because, well, I found the problem pretty quickly. But if, for example, a transistorized unit like this is faulty, go through it stage by stage, okay? Go through it stage by stage and you'll come to it. That meter there, that's your best friend. Okay. Anyway, from me, Steve, at Steve's Long Vintage Radio Long Stay Workshop, thank you very much for watching this video. And do press like and subscribe if you like this mess. And I'll see you soon. And remember, keep fixing radio, tape recorders, TV sets, because it's the way to live. Bye bye.